gap made today is fatal and final on this twisty circuit.
There are a lot of long straightaways here and square corners, and horsepower will play a big role on this track.
Kitchak will be depending heavily on his Porsche's speed and durability to fend off the advances of Archer, who will be supplying all the pressure.
They definitely got the head of steam going, and we've been trying to break their pace the last 5 or 6 races. It seems like the harder I try to screw him up, the better he does.
The only thing that stands between these two drivers and the victory lap is each other.
If we're in front of him, we'll drive a different kind of race. If we're behind him, we're going to have to pass everybody in between. All in all, we're going to focus on the championship.
It's down to the wire for the Speedvision GT Championship from Laguna Seca, next on Speedvision. Welcome to the glorious Monterey Peninsula and Laguna Seca Raceway as we come down to the final race to decide the championship in the Speedvision GT World Challenge Series. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Creamer along with Dorsey Schrader. And Dorsey, literally this is it, and the championship couldn't be closer.
No, two guys fight it out to the wire right here today. The championship goes right down to the last point.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Of course, it started a number of races ago, and then it was all Bobby Archer. You take a look at this graph, Archer in the red, Kitchak in the yellow. Archer started very strong. Kitchak struggled at most part in Lime Rock in particular, at 11th and 24th respectively. But about mid-season, Archer started to slide a little bit, and Kitchak reeled off 4 wins, and it brought him into a virtual dead heat. Now, there are points for qualifying, so it was crucial, and early on, Bobby Archer grabbed the pole with a 137.9. That would have helped him, but moments later, George Biscup, the early season revelation for the rookie, at a 137.6, got him by 0.3. Everybody pushing hard. Reese Coxon off. He would end up qualifying 10th, but on the final lap, Peter Kitchak took pole by a half second. That point was huge.
When we were 1 point ahead, we were going to have to beat him in the race to win the championship. Now, with that 1 extra point, if he's second and we're third, or if he's third and we're fourth, because we've got more wins than he does, we can still win the championship even if he beats us in the race. So it was a very, very important point.
And let's take a look at those points. We'll put them up there for you. There's the margin. Kitchak by 2 over Archer. That's the championship. But Dorsey, we've got a good battle for third between Biscup and Chart. And we also are going to see a great battle for 6 between 5 drivers.
Yeah, back there, Paul Brown, Reese Cox, Pete Halsner, of course, isn't in the race right now. It's got to be White with the new C5. These guys all fighting it out in points, too.
Then they have been very quick. Remember that one of the C5s has a win already this year. So this race could be very interesting indeed. Also joining us in the pits this weekend is Calvin Fish. He's with our pole sitter.
By virtue of winning 3 of the last 4 races, Peter Kitchak finds himself in the championship lead for the very first time this season, but the lead is a tenuous one, only 2 points. And Peter, your chief and arch rival Bobby Archer is right behind you on the grid. Tell us about the pressure here today at Laguna Seca.
Well, it's a fair amount of pressure, and it's a very simple process. We just have to win the race, or we've got to beat Bobby Archer.
Well, Peter's going for his 5th win of the season, and joining me today in pit lane is Diana Binks, and she's with the man who's behind in the points for the very first time.
Well, yes, I am with that man who's 3rd placed on the grid today. Bobby Archer, you're 2 points behind. You've got Bill Cooper in front of you, and obviously he's been in the thick of things throughout the season. What's your plan?
Well, I know that, it's coming down to this race for all the marbles, and, Bill's very frustrated. He wants to win a race. Peter's got to finish ahead of me to win the championship, and I have to finish ahead of him to win the championship. So, and then we've got George Biscup alongside of me who equally wants to win a race. So I've just got to keep my head on straight and get to the end without any incidents.
Bobby, good luck.
Thank you very much.
And it's back to the booth.
Well, thanks, Diana. It's nice to have you back. Great work, of course, at Le Mans. We haven't seen you since then. Nice to be here. We'll be back with the starting lineup and the green flag. The field ready to roll off here at Laguna Seca under perfect conditions. Absolutely clear blue sky, not a cloud. The weather, beautiful. So let's bring you our BMW starting grid. The front row on the pole, Peter Kitchak in the Keewaydin Porsche. Next to him, Bill Cooper in the Les Stanford Chev Corvette. Row 2, Bobby Archer, 2 points behind Kitchak. That's what it's all about in the Viper Speed Viper. And George Biskup in the Control Solutions Porsche. Row 3, John Heinrichsey in the Rowley's Pennzoil Corvette. And Dave Shard in the TRD Toyota Super Turbo. Row 4, Sean Rowe in the Viper Club Dodge Viper, and Derek Bell in our Speedvision Legends of Motorsport BMW M Coupe. Row number 5, Mark Anderson in the 928 International Porsche, and Reese Cox in the MTI Motorsports Corvette. Row 6, Paul Brown in the HP Motorsports Celine Mustang, and Tommy Safar in the Tsunami Corvette C4. Row 7, Terry Lackey in the Corvettes of Houston LT4, and Jeff Dimitri in the HP Motorsports Celine Mustang. Row number 8 is Mike Judy in the Judy's Custom Electronics Mustang, and Rupert Bragg-Smith in the Les Stanford Corvette. Row 9, Pat DiGiovanni on the Edge Porsche, and Peter Pauley in the Pauley Brother Cutlery Corvette. Row 10, Jim Oppenheimer in the Impact Porsche, and Walt Zwick in the Techmark Corporation BMW M3. You take a look at the rest of the grid, and one of the stories there, of course, is the fact that Derek Bell was very quick in practice, however, struggled a bit, had some problems in qualifying. That should be a lot of fun. Now, this track is really quite legendary, and Dorsey, let's take a look now at our Toyota track map. It is wonderful.
Laguna Seca, you see right there, is 2.238 if you're counting at home. That's how long the racetrack is. Very fast racetrack, both in corners and straightaways. It doesn't really favor a car that is only fast in the straightaway because there's a lot of turns around this place. You got to get through the corners awfully fast.
At turn 6, always, that is just a brutally fast and huge commitment corner, isn't it?
Well, it's a great racetrack with a lot of elevation change. You're looking at it right there as the cars are coming up a very steep grade. At the top of that hill, you got to do a lot of braking, and it's hard to do because the car gets light.
Take a look at some of our onboards. There's Terry Lackey in the Corvettes of Houston machine. We're also going to go on board with Reese Cox in one of the C5s, one of the Chevy Corvette C5s. And they're going to be getting that look out the front from Reese. Next up will be the rookie, George Biskup, in the Control Solutions on the Edge Porsche. But again, what a revelation he has been this year as the rookie. Then Peter Kitchak, and at point, on pole, leading in the points. The championship is going to be his in the Q8 real estate entry. And in our Speedvision Legends of Motorsport car, we've got a couple of great views for Derek. This one, looking straight ahead. And then we're also going to have a great shot up at Derek to watch his action. There it is, to watch his work in the office, as it were. And as we're working through the rest of this pace lap, let's go down to Derek Bell one more time this season.
Well, here we are on the last half of our warm-up lap for the final round of the Speedvision GT Championship. Just a couple of points in it between Peter Kitchak and Bobby Archer. Very exciting. There's a real pack, about 8 cars within a second. The front of the grid. We were running very well in practice in the little BMW M Coupe, sort of in the first 2 most of the time, and then we had something major go wrong. We think it had to be the gearbox, and I suddenly went off the road when something jammed up yesterday in qualifying, and I'm in 8th place because I just got 1 lap in before it broke.
Well, Dorsey, that should make it very interesting in terms of the onboards and for Derek Bell with a car he knows is very fast and can run at the front.
Yeah, he's proved that the other day that he was really, really quick. He's mired back here in 8th place, but I know that he doesn't want to stay there very long.
I would think not, and of course this track is a track that he's very much used to in terms of what he races on in Europe. This is one of the all-time great road courses.
Well, you're right. Look right there. That's the corkscrew, and it's one of the best pieces of racing turf anywhere in North America. Laguna Seca is really a great road racing course.
One of the best, certainly. This is part of Don Panos' American Le Mans Series weekends, and it's great to be here and be here in a race that is so close in terms of the championship battle. And Derek Bell's going to have a great view of that championship unfolding in front of him, and of course maybe joining it. Now, Calvin Fish, Bobby Archer is chasing Kitchak.
Bobby Archer has been very unsatisfactory with the handling of his car this weekend, and this morning they found they had a differential that was broken in the car, so they changed it. The problem is you typically set the car up around the handling problem, so he's unsure how the car will handle in the race today.
Well, having qualified behind Kitchak, he needs that Viper to be working today. Dorsey, they're in the final corner.
And you got to get a good start here because there's a long run to turn 1. You can make some passes here. Everybody will be trying to get a good jump on the stair. Oh, look at Derek Bell just trying to get a jump, but that's a bit premature. There he goes again.
He jumps out early. That's a no-no. There's the green. And this championship is underway. 25 laps to determine the champion. And Kitchak leads. Cooper second. Biskup out. Oh, and Cooper gets into Kitchak.
Oh, God, I know how that feels.
Oh, and that red light coming on generally means the engine stalled, but he's in some deep gravel anyway. Out of that first turn, they call it the Andretti hairpin there now. Cooper leads it, but Archer, a great opportunity up on the outside.
Go protest immediately. Immediately. There's a plane flat hit in the back from Cooper. Very, very intentional.
There's the opinion of Kitchak as to what happened, and he's trying to get his crew immediately to file a protest. Look at George Biskup. Biskup now in a battle with Shart. That's for fourth. Ducks underneath and makes it.
Okay. Charles having a go in front. Bit of a shimmy up here. Side by side going over the brow. Do something about these two, but I can't do it yet. Yellow flags, full course yellow.
Oh, and Biskup getting a break there, Dorsey. He got around. Let's go back and look at the replay.
Well, here comes Cooper looking the inside and thinks different of it. Hits, just drills Kitchak and puts him out and into the gravel trap. That's very deep gravel, Greg. He's not going to get out of there.
Let's take a look at it from the back of Kitchak's machine. Here comes Cooper.
No denying that one.
He took a little right. I mean, it's almost like he moved right into him, didn't it?
I look here from Biscuit's car, and I look up ahead of you there. Cooper looks to the inside, but then he gives up on it, comes back to the right. And boy, you know, I don't know.
Wow. Cooper took him out.
Yeah. Good opinion there by Biskup. And I almost wonder, there's some oil dry there, Dorsey. I wonder if Cooper didn't maybe lock up when he hit that oil dry.
What a very disappointed man Peter Kitchak must be. He's done such a great job all year.
A tough break indeed for Peter Kitchak. And with that, we're going to step away and take a break as well. Welcome back to Laguna Seca. And you see Peter Kitchak back on course while we're under full course yellow. And Dorsey, it took him a while. There were some struggles to get him out of the gravel trap. But we understand that SCCA might be giving him his laps back.
That's a strange kind of approach to things. He was in the gravel trap, obviously, for a couple of laps. So they're going to try to put him back at the tail end or something.
Well, there's Peter Kitchak trying to catch the back of the field. And with that, let's go down to Calvin Fish, who's caught up with SCCA's Mitch Wright.
Mitch, an unfortunate set of circumstances there. Cooper taken out of Kitchak. What are you going to do about it?
Well, it appears they're giving Cooper a stop and go plus a time penalty. It is unfortunate. It appears that they're going to, Kitchak will be at the tail of the lead lap, so he'll have an opportunity to try to get his way back up through the field.
Well, the SCCA are doing their best to bring this championship down to the wire. He's got a lot of work to do with Bobby Archer still up front.
And if Bobby Archer leads for a lap, that point can often play huge, and we've seen it in qualifying. Speaking of up front, let's take a look, Dorsey, at this start out the front window of Kitchak's Porsche.
Well, Peter, with a real good start, you see him crest the hill. Once he starts down into turn one, you'll see him get on the brakes, and then he starts braking for the corner and feel the hit. It's about to happen.
And there's the hit right there, just that fast. Kitchak's in the gravel, and Diana Binks has caught up with Cooper's crew chief.
Keith, you've been in radio contact with Bill. What happened out there?
Well, I think the brakes were just cold when he got in there. He locked them up. I think it's a bad thing, and I feel bad for Peter. And I know Bill didn't do it on purpose. I think the brakes were just cold. We've been fighting some brake problems all weekend, and I think he's got some flat-spotted tires, so I think it's going to bite him back. We'll just see what happens.
Thanks, Keith. Back to the booth.
Thanks, Diane. And Dorsey, lights are out in the pace car. And you'd think that everybody's brakes would be cold going to that first corner.
Ah, good point, Greg. You're right. They all are cold, and that's a rookie type of mistake. Of course, Bill Cooper is no rookie. He's had a lot of races under his belt.
Okay, so we're coming round for the restart. We're all grouping up here. Coming in the last turn, I expect the guy in front is going to blast out of the corner. It's going to be a bit difficult for me.
We're going to check in again with Derek Bell. On to that long front straight you talked about, Doris. It's winding very, very fast here. And Cooper leading them up. Lap 5, we get the green on the restart. And down into the Andretti hairpin one last time. That little kink to the left, then into the braking zone. And boy, look at John Heinrichs looking very racy, wanting by Archer. Biskup right there in fourth. Shart right there. That's a battle for
look at
fourth.
that. That's Derek off the right of Cox right there. They're bumping. Those guys are hitting right there.
Boom, there was a little bit of a hit. Up into the right-hander. This is turn 3.
Where's Derek at? He should still be on the outside, I would think.
Shoulder. Oh! It's a hit. Derek is off. Cox gets to it. Derek comes across. Oh! Huge hit. That looked like Tommy Safar's Corvette. That's Paul Brown's Mustang. Both getting into Derek, but Dorsey, that was an immense hit.
That was a huge hit. Derek went out, hit the Firestone Bridge, bounced back. The wheels weren't locked up for some reason. Greggy rolled right out and got absolutely creamed by Tommy Safar. Both those guys are not out of the car yet. Oh, there's Derek. He's out. That's good to see because that was just a monster hit.
Monster hit. Derek out very quickly. making his way over to one of the cutouts. There's the corner worker, and he's checking in with Tommy Safar. And there's Safar, the window net pops out. Good news.
Look here on the replay. That's Derek on the outside. They're banging right there. It's going to turn Derek right here. It turns him into the wall. He's going to go hit this wall backwards. Watch it. He slams in backwards, bounces off. This is now the tires aren't locked up. He's coming across and watch. Bam! Big, here, look at that thing all the way off the ground. And of course, there was nowhere for Paul Brown to go. That's him in the Saleen Mustang. Safar is out. The BMW of Derek Bell is out. Watch now, ride with Derek.
His impact into the wall at the end was huge as well. Camera's gone. Another angle on it here, Doris.
Yeah, watch what happens here now, because this is a big hit. The first one just spins him, but when he hits the wall backwards, which is about to happen, see him duck in. He knew it. Oh, he knew that hit was coming.
Now let's watch it from onboard Terry Lackey. There's the off. There's hit one, hit two, and Derek spins off, and somehow Lackey negotiates that, continues on.
Boy, and he's yelling, crash, crash, crash.
Boy, it was that. There's Paul Brown out of the car. He is okay. And also we know that Derek Bell and Tommy Safar, there they are sitting on the wall. They're both okay. We're under caution. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Laguna Seca, and there is one very damaged BMW M Coupe. That car, pretty much a write-off, Dorsey.
Yeah, our Legends car is history. that took a big hit today.
That gives you an idea that this is serious racing indeed. Now, earlier in the weekend, Diana Biggs visited not just with Derek Bell, but with another rather well-known figure.
Derek, now your car is performing very, very well. You're on the pace. What's your thoughts going into the race?
Well, I'm totally different to other times because it's the first time we've been quick all year. We were second off the pace last week, Pikes Peak, and then this week suddenly we're on fastest or second quickest out there. So I feel very happy with the car for the first time. But like Tim said, I don't really want anybody pushing me off the road. I'm allowed to push them, you see, but not the other way around.
Now, Derek, you've got an additional challenge because not only have you got to race the race, you've actually got to do some commentary during the race. Does that distract you at all?
I'll tell you after the race, but up to now it hasn't been too bad. But I think I'm going to be in the thick of a lot of action up there. There's two guys going for the championship as well as me trying to keep out of their way, but I'd also like to win it because, you know, it's all sort of up there too. But same time, I'm not going to be stupid, but I hope I'll be able to talk and sort of put some interesting features in there as long as there's not too many expletives on the way.
But you want to get a lot of shots of me, so come by me and we'll do a little. I'll get the window down. How you doing, Derek? Pretty nice day out here, isn't it? Look at the sun over there, isn't it? Try the
I don't have a mic in my hand, Tim. I can't do that.
Well, I can yell. See, I think if we work together, that could be kind of interesting. Well, I like this whole World Challenge thing. My favorite racing when I was a kid was Trans Am. I loved that because it was cars that you could actually buy. And this is the closest race. And I like touring sedan in Europe too, because it's cars you can recognize. I just love that close racing. I'm a sports car nut. This camera thing is a really kick-ass idea. I think once I don't know how.
Your turn next. You can have it next.
Well, I just love the idea of it because if you know where the action is, and you're a pro, then you can follow things around. I wouldn't be too good because of course it would be on me the whole time. Anyway, so how do I look now? I'm so used to it. I think it's just a great idea. Speedvision came up with another plus. It's cool.
Well, thanks, Tim. We think so, too. And Dorsey was right after qualifying. Tim Allen, who was going to race, suddenly had to go to the hospital for an emergency appendectomy.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever heard a driver get sent off for removal of suspect parts, but that's the way it went. Tim's okay. He's got no appendix anymore.
Well, a little overweight, apparently. Now, Archer's been struggling. Let's go down to Calvin Fish.
John Brustowich is in radio communication with Bobby Archer. And have you discussed the strategy from here? You know that Kitchak's out there with a strong car. He's driven to the front before. What do you expect here in the race?
Well, we'll expect that he'll catch up, but we're just going to stay out there. We'll keep watching him. We'll just keep the distance between him and Bobby, and we'll watch the time and watch the positions.
So the splits are going to be important, guys. They're going to have that stopwatch on the distance between Archer up front and Kitchak as he makes his way through the field.
Well, he certainly is capable on pole by over half a second, but the real key is you see Cooper still leading. He has been able to serve his penalty because of all the full course cautions. You can't serve a stop and go under yellow, so he'll go in, and if Archer can hold on and lead a lap, that closes that gap up again. That's huge.
Well, it takes that point back away that he got for that pole position earlier on, and it is a very key point, no question about that. Now, Peter Kitchak has got to keep one thing in mind. He's got to focus on the championship. He doesn't want to get himself into a wreck now. He's got to keep his temper, and you know he's mad about that first lap thing.
He's got to put the red mist, if you will, to good use here and really focus and drive clean and drive fast. We've seen him drive that way before. Just a very impressive driver. He has those 4 wins this season. He knows now what he has to do. The question is just simply executing it. And now he's working his way down through the corkscrew, and he's got, what, about a third of a lap getting ready for green. What's going through his mind, Doris?
He's got a real fast race car right now for sure. He wants to get by this back traffic as quickly as he can. But remember, Greg, he's got to do it cleanly. He can't get involved in another accident.
And there is Cooper. He is trying to get as far over as he can. That was interesting. The pace car dives down into pit lane, into the final corner. Very tight, turn 11 here. And they've actually opened up the runoff at the exit of that corner. It used to be right to concrete. It's a little bit more confidence-inspiring right now. And here comes the field up to the restart. We're starting on lap 9, and I don't know that we've had a complete lap. And you can hear the call for green, and we are underway.
Well, now Archer already knows that he doesn't have to race with Cooper because Cooper's got to do that stop-and-go penalty. But look behind in the rearview mirror as you see Heinrichsey applying pressure.
Heinrichsey, then Biscup, then Chart in the Toyota, then Sean Rowe in another of the Vipers, then Reese Cox right there as well. So a very strong battle going on at the front here, and some very accomplished cars. Reese Cox had a very strong finish earlier in the year. We know that all of these cars are capable, and at this type of a track, Dave Shart's Toyota ought to be able to sing as well. So good manufacturer scrap going on at the front.
None of these drivers have been able to establish any kind of rhythm yet because they haven't done a complete lap yet. So everybody's still a bit nervous and edgy, and the tires aren't up to temperature yet. So everybody, it's just like the race hasn't even started yet.
A little bit of a wiggle for Archer under braking, so I wonder about that handling, if that's still a little bit suspect. Oh, Cooper almost dropped his right rear on the turn into turn 5. But he's able to hang on to it right now, and as they continue on up the hill. Now remember that huge accident with Derek Bell, Paul Brown, and Tommy Safar, and Diana is now with Tommy. Diana?
Thomas, obviously you're okay. What happened out there? Obviously Derek went off and then you clipped into him.
Yes, it was. Derek spun out sideways and couldn't see him in the dust, so I came up and we T-boned him. It looked like Paul Brown came around and hit Derek Bell on the backside.
No way of avoiding anything?
No, it was right in front of me. I was on the brakes and he was right there.
Are you okay though?
Yes, I'm fine.
Disappointed to end the race?
Oh, absolutely. It's always disappointment to end the race, but I'm okay. The other drivers seem okay. That's a good thing.
That is a very good thing indeed. And keeping our eye, of course, on Kitchak coming up through the pack.
Boy, he's slicing his way through these guys. You know, look at that. He's gotten probably half of them already. And the Porsche, oh, big power slide out in the dirt. Oh, he's giving it his all right now.
He's giving it his all. Got around Mark Dixon in the Firebird and did it with some flair out there in the dirt and gravel, but makes the pass stick. So Kitchak is literally marching toward the front here, down into the Andretti hairpin once again. There's Kitchak, the black Porsche, Dixon in the Firebird, and then it's Scotty White, a winner earlier this year as well in that C5 they've been working on all season long. Interestingly, Dorsey, Cooper has not come in for his black flag.
Yeah, and you can't stay out there too long not coming in for your black flag, or they'll quit timing and scoring them. They'll quit scoring you, and you'll go right to the back, and that'll be the end of your day.
Well, he's got to know. I mean, he had to expect something was going to happen from that contact. I mean, this can't be a surprise.
Well, there's no surprise. They've been talking to him on the radio about it. And, of course, we're behind yellow for so long. You had to have known. Right now, though, Peter Kitchak still coming through the pack. I tell you, he passed at least 10 cars in one lap, so that is a very potent car right now.
And, of course, the Porsche known for carrying great momentum and speed, great cornering ability, and he is making that car absolutely fly. There's a look at Cooper. There is Archer, Heinrichsey, Biscup, and Chart, and that group of 5 now has broken away from the rest of the field.
Oh, we'll take a look right here and see if he's going to make his pit stop for the penalty. Of course, as soon as he does that, that means that Archer, and there he goes into the pits. Now watch, Archer's going to lead a lap and get that point, and here comes Heinrichsey up the inside of Archer and makes the pass for the lead.
Cooper's in, Cal.
Bill Cooper brings it into the pits for his stop and 10-second penalty. He slowly goes down the pit lane, 45 miles per hour. This will seem like an eternity to Bill Cooper as he goes down to the very end of pit lane, comes to the box, and then he'll stop there for 10 seconds. Peter Kitchak is on a charge. Last time through here, the last turn, completely sideways in the dirt, up to 15th and knocking off more spots as we speak.
Unbelievable, Calvin. While you were talking, it looked as though Heinrichsey got the lead on the front straight, Dorsey. Archer powered by, let it start finish, got his point, and then lost the lead back to Heinrichsey.
Bobby drove the car almost into the wall to get underneath there and get that point, but he got it. But now Heinrichsey back in command again.
Unbelievable bit of racing there, and Archer, I think he knew what he had to do, obviously. Cooper back out, and of course, not just to stop and go, as we heard Mitch Wright say, it's also they added time to it. He had to sit there for a little bit, so he's buried in the back.
Yeah, he's way back. They gave him a 10-second penalty after he stopped, so now he's way back there and really needs a caution to be any kind of a contender today.
Very strong run by Dave Shart. Oh, and Biscup now taking a run, trying the long way around Archer. Couldn't get it done there as they make the approach now. On the brakes, into the corkscrew.
Wow.
Archer defends, and Biscup makes it stick.
Porsche brakes, baby. That was sticking it in there deep, and that's a good place to make that pass.
Oh, he made it beautifully. It's almost reminiscent of the pass that Artie had heard a couple of years back. So it's Heinrichs, Biscup, Archer, and Shart. But as we look at Bobby Archer, that 60 or so feet he led at start and finish, that, folks, is huge. Welcome back to Laguna Seca, and you can see the lead duo now of Heinrichs and Biscup have eased away from Archer and Shart just a little bit, and George Biscup really looking very strong here. He's hooked up with Heinrichs.
I'm just waiting my time. The pressure in his ass, though.
Well, he is doing exactly that. He has caught him, and he continues to just fill those mirrors. And sometimes if you just don't have the speed to get by, Dorsey, that's the best thing you can do.
Keep the pressure on in case anybody makes a mistake, or try to force them to make a mistake, and that's what George is thinking about right now.
Well, he knows that he can work the brakes very effectively. And, of course, Calvin Fish, he's been using those brakes in racecraft very, very well.
The man who's looking really strong out there now is George Biscup, and Bill Rader is on the radio to him. How's the car today?
Car's absolutely perfect. He's happy with it. He couldn't be happier. It's going great, exactly as planned.
George really seems to like these rhythm tracks like Mosport, Mid-Ohio, and certainly here at Laguna.
Yeah, they really suit him, and he's really at home here.
Porsche looking good up there, putting the pressure on the vet.
Oh, you said it, Calvin. Biscup in the twistier parts of the track, Dorsey, with those brakes and the handling of that car is just being really merciless right now.
Watch on top of the hill. This is where the passing zone happened before. I don't know if John's going to let him. No, see, John's not going to leave an opening for the Porsche to stick the nose in there.
Yeah, he really moved over, shut the door, then turns in quite early into the corkscrew, down through the right-hander here. And really from this point on, with maybe a little bit of a breathe right about there, this is almost flat out until you get down to that rainy curve there.
That corner right there is a scary corner. It's really, really fast. You can't tell from the camera angle, but it's well over 100 miles an hour and a bit off camera.
That's off camera, but some of the other turns here, there's some great banking to it. Not huge banking, but enough that it really inspires a lot of confidence to go in hard.
Look at here, who's up to 8th place. Here, of course, we're talking about Peter Kitchak, who is at the very back, is up to 8th place and is coming.
Well, that, of course, is the championship story. We're definitely going to keep track of that. And every time Kitchak comes into the Andretti hairpin, you see those two big lines as they go off into the gravel. That's got to be a little frustrating reminder of his earlier lap. Once again, a great drive here by Dave Shart. And they've really had a bit of a struggle this season at some tracks, Dorsey. They continue to really make that Toyota evolve nicely.
Well, they're doing a lot of development. He's gone through doing 2 different types of turbocharger systems on that car, 2 different types of electronic systems on that car. So they're still searching, but it's getting better.
Good ride here by Sean Rowe and the Viper Club. Viper, that's a program that came together during the season, and he continues to improve, and that's evident as he's now running in 5th with Reese Cox right behind him in 6th. But Sean Rowe, of course, has experience in lots of different high-powered cars. You knew once they got this one sorted that he was going to be there.
Yeah, and it's not as well developed as the Archer car is yet, of course, because Archer's been involved with Chrysler Corporation a long, long time now. But this car is coming. Sean Rowe's doing a good job developing this other Viper.
Yeah, after struggle, oh, look at that. Reese Cox running wide enough there that he actually dropped the outside tires in the gravel just a little bit, trying to catch Sean Rowe, who is flying. Another guy who's running very fast right now is Cooper. After serving his penalty, he has augured his way back up to 10th.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he gets up around 8th where Kitchak is, I would really watch that, because I know Peter's not happy about that turn 1 incident.
Let's go back up front right there. There's Heinrichs and Biscup, and look at Shart now applying the pressure to Archer. And with the way Kitchak's coming on, remember, that's on the lead lap. I think Mr. Archer has to be a little bit careful of dropping a lot of spots here.
Archer's car, for some reason, they don't get the balance right for him on these high-speed tracks.
11-second interval. Keep it up. You've got to keep the hammer down.
That was the crew talking to Kitchak, telling him exactly what his margin is. And he dives down the inside of Mark Anderson in that Porsche 928. Unique-looking car, of course, and first time we've seen that one this year. And that moves him up. He's now 7th, Dorsey.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. He's weeding his way through, but he really needs a caution to catch the leaders.
So Kitchak now through turn 3, continuing to work his way up through the pack. His nemesis, Bobby Archer, sits in 3rd. Right now, that's good enough. Welcome back once again to Laguna Seca, and there is Heinrichsey, chased hard by George Biskup up into the legendary corkscrew once again, and there is Peter Kitchak working over Reese Cox. That is a battle for fifth, and boy, did he get a launch off that hill. Cox, that gives him room.
Oh, he set that pass up absolutely perfectly at the bottom of the hill, took track position away from Cox, and powered the Porsche all the way up to the corkscrew.
You've got to believe anybody looking in their mirror seeing a black Porsche making a move up the inside is going to give him a lot of room. Reese Cox doing exactly what he should have done.
Of course, some of these guys, you're right, they realize that this is a championship battle here. They know what happened in turn one, and they know that the Kitchak needs to get right here up to the front where Heinrichsey leads over Biskup.
And there is Biskup. He's dropped off just a little bit here. Whoa, little loose right there. Well, he's working hard, trying to stay with and find a way around Heinrichsey. And it's really now from here, the Andretti hairpin, the braking area there, that he really seems to excel all the way up to the corkscrew.
Well, the Porsche brakes are legendary, and it's a much lighter car than that Corvette he's chasing. Of course, there's Archer. I was saying before, it doesn't seem like his Viper likes these high-speed tracks. Behind him, the Toyota David Shart is really, really putting pressure on.
Running very well. You can see Archer turning in a lot sooner than Shart, and one of Archer's problems is Biskup. Let's watch. Yeah. Biskup's got him.
Yeah, that was set up real well by George. He got track position coming off the corner and got into the brake zone. Yeah, you did.
Did a great job, and now George Biskup to the fore as he leads here over Heinrichsey. What I was saying about Archer, it looked like Archer was turning in a lot sooner than Shart, and they've been struggling with understeer this year. It looks like it may have not been cured yet.
Yeah, that car just isn't as balanced as he would like it to be on these types of tracks. And remember at the beginning of the show when we were talking about the fact that that man right there, George Biskup, is really eager for his first win. As a rookie, it would be a phenomenal year for him.
Well, he was a revelation early, tailed off just a little bit, moves over as one of the Corvettes of Houston entries, just lets both of them slide through. Another great piece of driving by one of the cars a little bit deeper in the pack. And here we go into the brake zone for turn 11, and Heinrichsey swings out a little wider. And look at that, another nice job as Lackey lets both Archer and Shart through as well.
Yeah, but watch now, we'll see how the power situation goes out. Obviously, Heinrichsey knows that the Corvette's better in the straightaway and not as good in the brake zone, so he won't even attempt to do anything right there. Shart, on the other hand, right here, working over the Viper. See how much he lost in the straightaway?
Wow, he lost quite a bit. There is Archer and turn in with Shart right there. And Biskup now, whoa, little wiggle right there as he is trying to gain any kind of advantage he can. He'd really like to open up a bit of a margin here, obviously, on Heinrichsey before they get to the exit of 11 one more time.
He's using a lot of road up on the exit. You see the Porsche all the way out on the curbing with a little bit of fishtail going on. So maybe in all of that chasing of Heinrichsey, he might put some heat in the rear tires. Looks like Heinrichsey's coming back.
Well, that is, if there is a flaw in these Porsches, is that they can overheat the rears just a little bit, just because of one, it's the drive wheel, all the weight's right there as well.
Yeah, it did it right then again. A big power slide off that uphill corner, so the rear grip on this Porsche isn't what it could be.
Through turn 6, one of the great corners in racing. I mean, the corkscrew's legendary here. It's not a particularly fast corner. It feels like the earth falls away out from under you, a great roller coaster ride, but turn 6 is probably one of the more daunting corners on a racetrack in North America.
Yeah, this left-hander right here that he's setting up for, you know, do it with a little lift off the throttle, and then you're back on full throttle by then, and it's a lot of high G-force in that middle of that corner. You really got a good speed going through there.
A number of great corners here at Laguna Seca, and Heinrichsey coming from a long ways back, but he's inside. He is inside, and horsepower on the exit should play the key, and he's got him.
Oh, Mr. Chip. There's a good pass. We'll get him back.
Some good confidence there from Biskup and Dorsey. He missed a shift.
That's all it takes down there. You're in a hard brake zone. You got to get down into second gear. He got that bobbled a little bit, and that opened up the door. Heinrichsey stuck the nose of the vet in, and now he's got to deal with trying to pass him again, and he's loose, like I said, coming off these corners.
A lot of power oversteer. You can see him sawing at the wheel and saving it, trying to get any kind of exit speed he can. So John Heinrichsey back out in front in the Rowley's Pennzoil Corvette C5, but George Biskup has been just relentless in his pursuit. Bobby Archer, though, still in the championship, winning third. The Speedvision GT Championship winding down here at Laguna Seca. Just a few laps left in this one. There is Peter Kitchak, and Dorsey, he is up to 5th and is closing on Dave Shart in 4th.
He can see 4th and 3rd right up in front of him there, so that's the incentive that you need. It's the carrot dangling off the hood there that you have to go after.
Well, he's been going after it all race long. You also notice that Bobby Archer has closed back in on Heinrichs and Biskup. That margin has disappeared quite a bit as Shart has dropped off a tad as well. So, whoa! Mark Anderson in that 928 Porsche, the big moment.
Yeah, he had a little wiggle there at the bottom of the hill, and I thought he was going to snap back across the track. Good thing that didn't happen.
There's Kitchak, and look at Biskup again, under braking into the corkscrew, closes all up on Heinrichs, and then there is Archer, then that gap back to Shart, but again, Kitchak definitely coming on.
One reason that you look right back there at Bobby Archer picking up the pace is that he's been told by his crew that there's a black Porsche and it's coming, and that is the championship battle we're talking about.
And of course now that margin is but 1 point. Let's go back, take a look at what happened to Anderson. Oh, is that Reese Cox? Did he just unload an engine?
Well, he did. He had dumped a lot of oil, and that was exactly what happened to the Porsche. It had gotten the oil from behind and couldn't stay on the racetrack.
What a piece of driving by Mark Anderson. Came out right in front of Mike Judy, who also had to do some evasive, but a great save by Anderson in that 928. Another Porsche, Biskup, second spot, the Control Solutions machine, and he's now starting to feel the heat from behind, as you said, Archer. No, there's the gap. You can see how close Kitchak is from being dead last after he got pulled out of the gravel to where he has come. Another brilliant piece of driving by Kitchak.
There's a smoking car that is dumping oil, and it's right in front of Bill Cooper now.
Boy, Cooper, of course, obviously worried about grip, but also junk on the windshield at this point. That's back in 6th spot, so Cooper not exactly having a bad drive either.
Lap cars up in front. This is the top 3 as you look at it right now going down the hill. And here come the 2 vets side by side.
So Cooper able to sneak underneath, and that'll give him a lot of, well, improved visibility for one thing, and also just make things a lot more comfortable as he starts into some of these very fast corners. And, oh, there's a bit of a bump right there. That's Anderson having himself a couple of moments here on this lap. That was Scotty B. White giving him the nudge.
Yeah, well, the laps are winding down. These guys are getting pretty aggressive right now. There's Heinrichs leading. Biskup will try to find a way by, but they got to watch out from behind because, look, they're in traffic, and here comes Archer, and not far behind them, Shart, and Kitchak has caught Shart.
They've caught him, and of course, they're both going. Everybody's going by Randall Watkins. That's the backup car, if you will, for Bobby Archer and the team running it out for the weekend, and he lets them through very nicely indeed. And oh, Heinrichs, he gets the point by, but that could have cost him some momentum.
Well, that was a good point by, and you'd like to see that stuff when you're racing for the lead with 4 cars. But look at Kitchak all the way back at Shart for 4th place.
And as we go on board, Kitchak got a great run on Shart out of that corner.
And he's going to have track position because of that, because we're going uphill, and he's on the inside of this corner. He's going to take that 4th place away from David Shart.
Now that's where that point Archer got for leading a lap looms huge, doesn't it? Because remember, Kitchak explained it earlier that with that point, and oh, there's a bump right there. Shart is off.
Shart hit me back there.
For the 2nd time this race, Kitchak involved in some contact. But Dorsey, let's go back and take a look at it.
Look at Dave Shart on the inside here. I don't think Peter knows he's there. If Peter turns down, they're going to get together right there. Shart tries not to make that hit happen.
Let's take a look at it now from out the back, that great camera angle out the back of Kitchak's car. And I mean, Shart's far enough alongside, you don't even see him momentarily.
No, he was up in there, and I'm sure that Peter just didn't know it. Shart got on the binders, tried to keep the accident from happening, but it ain't touched anyway.
And of course, part of the reason perhaps, oh, look at this, things are getting very tense in the Archer pit. And there you know why, as Archer just swept around the outside of Biskup and moves to 2nd, but Biskup comes back.
Biskup with the Porsche brake goes down the inside. He's going to push Archer out into the real gravelly stuff out there and take that position right back.
Oh, Archer going to the throttle, but just not enough there. And not able to make that pass stick. Biskup back in 2nd spot. And had Archer been able to hold on to 2nd, that would have been some insurance. But even if he's 3rd right now, if Kitchak finishes 4th, it's still Archer's championship by 1 point, the point that he led that lap by. And if he didn't have that buffer, it would have come down to a tiebreaker. But right now, he's a point clear. But boy, he'd like to get around Biskup and just get that little pad. We'll be back. Less than 2 laps to go in the Speedvision GT Championship season here at Laguna Seca. It's still Heinrichs with Biskup giving chase, and Archer there in 3rd. Kitchak has not been able to close up any more than he had really on this lead group of 3. And Dorsey, we're coming up to the white flag. And obviously, Heinrichsey would like to get his first win. So would Biskup. They're not all that concerned about this championship.
Those two guys want their first win. They don't care about points. That man right there, though, he wants to finish in front of the Porsche. He's got enough lead on the last lap that he can't lose unless he goes off the road or has some kind of a problem.
So down the front straight they go. There's the white flag. So we are on our final lap of the season, and lap traffic up in front. And Biskup's thinking about it, but a little too far back.
I think that the lap traffic moved out of the way, and there was some oil dry there, and that's what all that smoke was about. But doing a good job staying out of this lead pack's way. That is first through third right there.
Heading up into turn 3, the right-hander, where Derek Bell had his problems earlier in the race. And there is Kitchak's teammate right there, Jim Oppenheimer. And so we'll see if how this plays at all. There is Kitchak, but again, quite a ways back and forth. He'd need the miracle right now.
Yeah, if these guys don't knock each other off the racetrack up in front, Kitchak can't catch up on speed to where he needs to get.
So Oppenheimer lets the lead duo go through, but Archer was not past him when they got here to turn 5. There's Kitchak on the way up the hill. Archer is by. He is now around and stays with that lead group of 3, although he did lose some ground.
Watch for the brake mark. The Porsche up here is going to try to make a run, I would think. Biskup knows with half a lap to go, he's got to do it in a brake zone. This is one opportunity, but no. Heinrichsey closes the door on that one.
And Heinrichsey protected beautifully. Now, Biskup mentioned earlier he was biding his time, but this is getting a little bit deep in the desperation mode to be biding your time here. But he's got a couple more possibilities, like here. Oh, no, not there.
The better one is the next one up here on the hairpin, if you can stick the Porsche's nose down. But no, Heinrichsey, look at him moving around. He's moving the Porsche on, trying to find some track position. Not going to happen today.
He tried to get Heinrichsey to bite and go outside with him and let him dive inside. Heinrichsey, a veteran, one of the best, and is a winner in the World Challenge GT competition. What a great run by Heinrichsey. Here's Kitchak for 4th, but in 3rd, it's Bobby Archer. Not enough for the Kitchak crew, and they know it. And Archer's 3rd place, good enough for the title. There, though, is your winner, John Heinrichsey. And look at Archer. I think he's coming up to say congrats to John. They've been racing each other for a long time, and Biskup comes in 3 abreast on the cool-down lap. Like to see that.
Yeah, they came up there, they're waving, saying, good job, good race, guys. That was a good thing. Here comes the other man in the picture right there, Peter Kitchak. He's coming up alongside of Archer and saying, hey, man, good championship.
There are the team owners, the very happy crew from Bobby Archer's Viper Speed team. They have done it. They have claimed the championship, and Bobby Archer is your champion. We'll meet him and our winner right after this.
Bobby Archer pulls into the victory lane, having taken a parade lap. Great job today, Bobby. That must have been the longest 25 laps of your life.
Oh, man, Calvin, you know, this is really a bittersweet situation. I felt so bad for Peter, you know, out in the sand, not being able to defend himself. But, you know, this Viper Speed crew just never gave up. And, you know, not that we've not had our bad times, too, this year. But, you know, what can I say? We worked hard. As I said at the beginning of the year, nothing less than a championship would be satisfactory. And, boy, I tell you, I mean, at the end, I thought we lost it by 1, and then the crew says, you led that 1 lap, that was it. But I'd like to say the car ran perfect, but it didn't. You know, we had the differential problem. We tried something, and it was a handful. And I saw the Toyota in back of me, and I thought, boy, this is deja vu all over again. But I just flipped up the mirror and kept at it.
Congratulations, GT champion Bobby Archer.
Thanks a lot.
It's going to be a great party tonight, one well-deserved. Let's take a look at our provisional results. John Heinrichsey, the winner over Biskup, Archer, Kitchak, and Shark. That's your top 5. We'll take you down through the top 30 in the results. And Dorsey, it was a very entertaining and a very eventful race.
Well, I feel sorry for Peter Kitchak. He did everything he had to do to win this championship, and it was taken away from him for something he had no control over.
What a great drive up through the pack he did put on. It was Archer's season, perhaps, but it was John Heinrichsey's day, and he is now with Diana Binks. Diana?
John, many congratulations. Your first GT win. You must be absolutely delighted.
Oh, I am, boy. I'll tell you, after those first few false ones there on the pace car where we couldn't seem to get around once, I thought maybe the race was going to end under yellow. I'm thankful it was only as many laps as it was, because it was really work. Boy, I tell you, I worked hard all those green laps, and George was just right on me all the time, and I thought sure he was going to get me, but one thing we had was brakes all the way to the end. The brakes held up really good, power, and everything was really working good. These BFG tires, I tell you, they never fall off. They really work good. And the guys, Danny Killemeyer and the crew, just did an awesome job prepping the car. It worked fine the whole race, and I couldn't be happier, and I'm happy for them.
Well, they gave him a great car, and nobody drives a Corvette like John Heinrich. See, let's take a look at our top 10 in points. Archer gets the championship over Kitchak, Biscup, Shart, and Cooper for your top 5. And, of course, Peter Kitchak has got to be feeling pretty despondent. He's with Calvin.
Peter Kitchak has made his way to victory lane, and Peter, it is not a victory you wanted to see today. I mean, you tied the points, but Bobby led a lap. That gave him the championship. Tell us about your feelings right now. I'm sure you're very frustrated.
Well, Calvin, I think we showed that we were the best car on the track today. We got intentionally hit from behind at lap 1. A very, very intentional hit. The driver ought to be banned from the series, from the rest of the series. We came back. We got very close. We got hit again on a situation that somebody shouldn't have hit us with 2 laps to go or 3 laps to go. I think we could have been there, but it's real disappointing.
We're sorry to see the day end like this, Peter.
Well, it was a tough day for Peter Kitchak, but Dorsey, there's little doubt it was a great season.
A great season for all these different manufacturers. All these marks have led at one time this year. Good year.
A great year, in fact, and certainly the Speedvision GT World Challenge Championship is on the rise. Some special people we'd like to thank: my colleagues in the booth and pits, Dorsey Schrader, Calvin Fish, John Biziano, Connie Willis, and Diana Binks. Our legends of motorsport drivers, Derek Bell, Desiree Wilson, and of course, Dorsey, a great day when you drove. Production support team is Dan Parisi and Jason Moskowitz. Our graphics by Tricia Donovan and Jerry McKenna. Editors, Dominic Lombardi and Joe Paletta. And the director of production is Jeff Hallis. And for the entire Speedvision World Challenge production crew, congratulations to 1999 GT champ Bobby Archer. We'd like to leave you with some of the wonderful sights and sounds of this great championship. Enjoy.